Hey guys, so welcome to my YouTube channel, Life by Kelly. This is the first video of a new, um, they're playlists, but I guess I'm going to call them series because that's what it is. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things. Let's see. Back when I am 41 years old, and when I was 26, I was in a job that was extremely active. And some days I would wake up and I would be really sore, like I had just worked out at the gym lifting really heavy weights or something, right? And so I went to the doctor and they tested me for everything: lupus, rheumatoid arthritis. Gosh, what are some of the other ones that they can test that causes body pain? I don't even remember now. Anyway, I was 26 years old. Everything came back negative, so he ultimately gave me the diagnosis of fibromyalgia. It's not the first time that I have had those problems. I tend to get really, really sore, even with just body weight exercises. For a very brief period of time in my life, I didn't I didn't have it. And for a very brief period in my life, it would happen immediately. And now it seems to be like a delayed onset of this muscle soreness, because it won't come until 2 or 3 days later. And then for a brief period of time, it would come like as soon as within a few minutes after ending if I worked really hard. Anyway, I'm going to jump all over the place and I really am going to try not to do that. So, and then again in my 30s, I was also again tested because I'm still having these muscle pains. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? Why do I hurt like this? And it was only occasionally. It didn't happen very much. And my mom, she had fibromyalgia. And I was one of those people who didn't necessarily believe fibromyalgia was an accurate diagnosis. And I think it's only because there's no blood test, right? There's no test for it. Yeah, there's pressure points, but when you have really sore muscles, those pressure points are usually going to hurt anyway, right? Maybe. I don't know. So I used to tell my mom, just get up and move more. Go do yoga. Go exercise. Walk. There are things that you can do to make your soreness go away. And she used to get so angry at me because I didn't understand. Well, I do believe fibromyalgia is probably different for everybody. So I don't know like what way work for one may not work for the other, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, so anyway, needless to say, this has continued off and on for years throughout my life. It would come and it would go, which is, I guess, a typical fibro flare, right? That's what they've said. And then 2 years ago, actually in May, so this month, 2 years ago, it was Memorial Day weekend, as a matter of fact. I was in Nelson, Nevada. We were out cliff jumping, and I wanted to be the cool mom and jump off the cliffs with the kids. And it was awesome, and it was so much fun. Well, then I got cocky and confident. And I'm not talking 10 footers, okay, you guys, I'm talking 50, 60, 70. Some of them were 80, though I did not jump off those really big ones. It was the smaller of all of them, which was probably 50 to 60 feet. I got cocky and I stopped paying attention to my form. And when I landed, I actually had landed with this arm like elevated, right? It was out probably about like that, maybe a little bit less, but it wasn't tucked in. So the other times I had jumped, it was, I tucked myself in because I know the importance of hitting the water properly. I grew up on the water. This was nothing that I had never done before. And it jammed everything on my left side up. I couldn't use this arm to swim back to shore. I had to use my right arm. I was absolutely miserable for the next day. I was so sore. I was in tears. Like, I was drinking. I smoked pot. I wanted to take a pain pill, but I won't mix pot with stuff. and I don't smoke pot often, but I did because that was what was there. And I was in so much pain. I cried myself to sleep. The next day I just burned. It was horrible. And so I gave it a couple of days. And I got back to Phoenix because at the time, or well, Chandler, because at the time that's where I was living. And I went to my box gym to see my trainer, and he looked at me and said, "No way. You need to go to the doctor." And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Your whole left side is swollen and you're off balance." And if you look at me, like, yeah, I'm leaning. And sometimes if I make it a point, I'm not. But you can look at me and really tell, like, even my head's tilted to the right. You can see my spinal x-rays. Actually, if I piece this video together, I will post them in here. Okay, so there you can see where I'm actually tilted to the right. And I have a -6 curvature in my neck. Well, so at this moment when I was in the gym and my trainer, his name was Ryan, and he looked at me and he said, "You need to go to the doctor." I had no idea that I had any of these problems. Like, I knew that my neck hurt, and I knew that it carried a lot of my stress in my shoulders and in my traps, and I would ache a lot. So I did know that. They had prescribed me muscle relaxers, never any pain medication. I'm not a big pain medication taker. The muscle relaxers didn't do shit for me. So I didn't take them. Like, I took them twice and they didn't help. So I just stopped. And my keto coffee, yay, off the fast, I can have my coffee. So, ooh, and that just spilled all over me. Lovely. So anyway, I get home and I was sore, but I have a tendency to push my body past its own limits. And I think honestly the reason that I do that is because my dad, like, if I was sick, it didn't matter. I better get up and do the dishes. If I was sick, it didn't matter. I better get up and go to school. If I didn't, I mean, it did not matter. Like, you pushed yourself, period, with him. There was absolutely no excuse to not do the things that you needed to do. And I have a tendency, even though I don't want to be that person, I do have a tendency to let that carry over in my life. And one thing that everything that I have been going through, and I promise all of this is going to add up. At this point in my life, I have learned to listen to my body. I have learned to slow down when I'm tired. I have learned to come out of a pose if it's yoga, out of a pose if it's too much. I've learned that form while lifting weights is extremely important. So anyhow, yeah, this is going to be fun. So I ended up going to the doctor. It was a sports chiropractic medical office, right? So you had your doctor, you had your chiropractor, and you had your physical therapist all in one. So I made an appointment. I went in, they took x-rays, which are the pictures that I showed you guys a minute ago. And a few days later, I went in. Now, mind you, this is end of May, very beginning of June, like the first week of June of 2015. No, it was 2016 because that was when I moved back to Kingman, and this happened just before I moved back to Kingman. So it was June. It was May 2016 that I jumped off the cliff because it was Memorial Day weekend, and it was June 2016 that I discovered all these elements. So I go in, and they proceed to tell me that they don't know what's wrong with my shoulder. They don't know why it's hurting. They can't see anything. They're probably going to send me off for an MRI because they were thinking maybe rotator cuff, but I had too much range of motion. So they really didn't believe that it was that. But x-rays wasn't showing anything. And however, my neck in a C3, 4, and 5, I had pretty severe degenerative disc. and I had a tilt to the right and a -6 curve in my neck. And that -6 curve, what that means is, so like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this, but that's like what your neck should look like, right? So mine was like that. It was actually the wrong direction, um, which I had no idea. Like, I knew that a fucked up spine ran in my family because my dad has had multiple back surgeries. My brother, my youngest brother by my dad, from what my dad told me, was dismissed from the military because of his back, because of his neck. And my dad's all started in my neck too. And I think by the time my dad was my age, I'm pretty sure he had already had a surgery, and he had this like spacer put in his neck in between his vertebrae. Like, looking at his x-ray, it looks like a capital letter E. So anyway, so that wasn't too shocking. It sucked. And I was like, okay, so what do we do? Because I don't want surgery, one. I also want to be active. Like, I don't want this to control my life. And so they just said, okay, well, we're going to do physical therapy. Here's a TENS unit. And then here is, and dismiss the chew marks. My daughter's puppy had chewed this up. And here's this thing, right? And it's actually called a dinner roll. I need a new one, obviously. So that's what I started doing. And then they just taped my shoulder. Well, my friend Lisa and I went to Mexico. Probably a week after that, because I think we were up there like June 9th, if I remember right. It might have been another week into June. But stop me. Okay, so with that, they wanted to give me these trigger point injections that had, I don't even know, I'm guessing a mix of steroids in it so that it would loosen me up, right? Well, it didn't work. He gave me, how many did we get in? He wanted to do 4 on each side. And I'm pretty sure that we got to 6 before I finally said no more. Like, my body was getting hot, and I think it was a panic attack because I don't like medication. I freak out when people are putting shit in my body. I don't even like to put medication. I'm very big on supplements, and I'll take a natural thing anytime. And I don't know why. I've never had any severe allergic reaction. I just don't like it. And so anyway, they gave me these injections, and it was supposed to help me, but I cried for the next 3 days. My back was on fire. I burned. It hurt to move. It was fucking horrific. Horrible. So I told them, we're not doing that again, right? Well, then I started going in, and they just started adjusting my neck. They did some minor physical therapy. Part of that is because I moved, and I didn't complete the physical therapy, which I probably should have, but I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to do it myself. So all of this, and I promise all of this is going to lead up to each other. And so anyway, yeah, so they taped my shoulder. They adjusted my neck. I took the TENS unit, which, if you don't know what that is, I'll put a link below in the comments to one on Amazon. It's this electrode thing, and it actually like shocks your muscles, right? I bought mine at the chiropractor's office, but I do get my replacement patches on Amazon. If you have a lot of muscle pain, this is amazing. Like, it like, I don't know what the hell it does, but it like puts these electric currents into your body, and it relieves a lot of pain, but it's very addicting. Like, I could wear the damn thing all day long. I can also sit on a heating pad or an ice pack all day long. Go figure, you know. So anyway, so that I on the way to Mexico, like, I used that TENS unit a ton. I had tape on, like, that sports tape on my shoulder, not the rock tape that I did a review on, but just that sports, like, kinesthetic tape. It didn't really help. We had a blast in Mexico. I really wasn't too bad, probably because I was drunk the whole time. And I'm trying to, like, make sure, like, I lead all this up. So But I ended up moving from Chandler back to Kingman at this time. So in this month, this June of 2016, and I had no strength. Like I lost it really quickly. And I noticed probably in July, that was when I noticed the strength gone mostly. I paid movers, so I didn't have to lift anything, so I didn't notice it then. And I wasn't using it. I was super babying this arm because it hurt. Like it hurt to move, it hurt to go up, it hurt to go forward. It hurt. It just hurt. And it hurt all over. It wasn't isolated to one spot. Like it just, especially back in the back, like it hurt, and nothing was taking the pain away. So I made an appointment with Larry Finch, which is a chiropractor here in Kingman, and he believes that I had popped out my top two ribs. Why wouldn't that show up in the x-ray? Maybe it did, but they didn't get the right angle. Like, I have no idea. All I know is I saw him probably 6 or 7 times, and finally he got it to pop, and I hurt really bad for a couple of days, and then I felt better, and I started getting my strength back. But I mean, it was so bad I couldn't even lift up my son. Like I couldn't, give him that push with your hand. He was 10 and weighed 60 pounds. Like I couldn't use any strength from this hand that involved my shoulder whatsoever. So I still babied myself. I still was like, oh, I can't start lifting weights because I'm hurt. And I didn't know, like, I think I was making excuses. I started gaining some more weight, and I'm just like, this isn't working, right? And then the muscle pain would come and go, and I would get it really, like, this weird pain in my rib cage. It was weird. I still don't even know what it is. And this was towards June of 2017. So it was about a year, and the muscle pain would come and go off and on throughout that year. It wasn't so bad. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary, but it was weird that I hurt because I wasn't working out. Right? So, and I mean, it wasn't that bad. So, okay, so I say so a lot. I need to stop that. Like that annoys me. I don't like it when other people do it. And so, see, there we go. Let me see. Then in July 2017, I started noticing like the pain along my spine, in my lower, in like my thoracic. I don't think I say that right. So you have your cervical, your thoracic, and your lumbar spine. So in my thoracic spine, which is along my ribs, I noticed the pain was getting weird and worse. And then I also would like get pain up on the front of my sternum and over here in like my lower rib cage, and it was mostly on my left. And if you look this up online, it is something I can't even pronounce the name. I'll put a link below the video. It's called chondrododitis or something like that, and it's a common thing, I guess, for people with fibromyalgia. And I guess it can come and go in stages, and it can come for long periods of time and then disappear, blah, 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 blah. Well, over the last, what was that? It was almost a year. It's been almost a year. It got really bad at the end of last year, of 2017. I used a lot of ice and a lot of heat, especially when I was sleeping, and it went away. Well, then November, I tore my knee. Jumping a fence, I tore my ACL and my MCL. I have not had surgery, and I'm really trying to not have to have surgery because I am afraid of being put under. fingers crossed and prayers for me. I'm in physical therapy finally 6 months later. Anyway, that's a whole nother video. And so, let me think. I'm getting off track. What's new, right? So then, after I tore my knee, I was on crutches for a month and a half or so, and it gave me a lot of upper body strength. It brought back upper body strength big time, like almost within like 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks, like a week. And well, then in February, I decided it was time to get my ass back to the gym. I'm like, okay, I am tired of being fat, and I'm not fat, but I'm overweight. I have too much body fat for my preference. I've always had a lot of muscle mass, and right now I don't have as much as I used to, which is normal. When you get older, your muscle mass actually starts to degenerate and go away unless you proactively take care of it. Well, when I started 2 years ago, I got injured, and so I couldn't. And prior to that, I really gave up on myself when my kids died. And I quit going to the gym. I quit eating. Like I let myself go, and who wouldn't? So I really try to not beat myself up over that. So we're not going to get into that. And anyway, so I started going back to the gym, and I started noticing that my rib pain and my back pain was getting horrific. Okay, like I couldn't get comfortable. I couldn't sleep, and it was coming and going. Like it would hurt really, really bad, and then I'd wake up the next day and it was like not there. Or I'd wake up and it would just be achy, and I didn't want to wear a bra. Like even a bra, it was just too tight, so I just wasn't wearing a bra. Or my sports bra, because my old sports bra is loose, so I would just wear that one because it was the most comfortable thing I had. So I started looking into fibromyalgia groups on Facebook, and a lot of the symptoms that I have are very, very common for people with fibromyalgia. Now, I am the type of person that I do not like to admit or believe or accept a diagnosis. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't want to accept that my knee's torn and only healable by surgery. I want to believe that I could fix it myself. Panic attacks are the only thing I've ever accepted, and that's probably because when you're having a panic attack, like you can't do nothing but accept it, right? If you fight it, they're just worse. And I've had it my whole life. So anyhow, so I started noticing like it was getting worse and worse and worse, and it's just steadily over time. It has like my upper back, like my traps and my rhomboids, and between my shoulders and under my shoulders, and that area of my spine that goes along my rib cage, and all the muscles like in between my ribs on my left side, sometimes they just burn like a motherfucker, and it hurts. And I think that it is from engaging them at the gym after years of not using them. Like I have no core strength whatsoever. My hips are extremely weak, and that we believe is the reason that I even tore my knee to begin with. So if you have weak hips and you haven't, especially being a woman, you need to strengthen them. And so we'll do another video on that later. But I just found out my hips, well, I've known my hips were, no, actually I didn't know my hips were weak. I was always told it was my hip flexor that was too tight, and it pulled my left hip forward, and et cetera, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, the pain the other night, Monday, yeah, it was Monday night because I had started my fast. No, it was Tuesday night. Today's Thursday. Yeah, it was Tuesday night. It was it went into day 2 on my fast that evening. And so it was over the 24-hour mark on my fasting. And I had gone to physical therapy for my knee that day. And we did a lot of hip and glute and like maximus exercises to help strengthen my left hip. And when I tried to go to bed, I was in so much pain that I felt like my back was on fire. Like it was horrible. And my glutes hurt, both of them, but mostly my left. My maximus, your butt muscles, those hurt like a son of a gun. My ribs were hurting. Um, and I had made an appointment with my orthopedic, well, the doctor that sees me for my knee. They're huge, and out of Flagstaff, they do everything from spine to knee to joints, you name it, they do it. And so I go to just one for everything because I don't like having multiple doctors. Although I have them, I have a cardiologist, I have a neurologist, I don't have a dermatologist or an allergist or an ENT. I probably will, just because whatever. That's whatever. I don't need to go into that. But I'm getting way off track. Whoa, 7 minutes into this video. Holy cow. And so, anyway, let me jump back. So in October of 2017, so this was 7 months ago, I was getting these really weird, like, shooting pains up the left side of my neck, like into my head, right in here, and it would throw me into a panic attack. My panic attacks got out of control again, and needless to say, I had other things in my life that were going on that were probably stressors and triggers, but I didn't care. What the hell, you get in that when your anxiety is flared up. So I went to the neurologist and I got an MRI of my head, of my brain, and then I got the ECG or whatever. They put that cap on your head and these electrodes, right, and this funky gel that gets all in your hair, and then they flash the strobe light. And then we did a nerve test, which is where they shock you. And a muscle atrophy test or something like that. I forget. So then a couple weeks later, I went back in for all of my results. So my MRI showed signs of seizure. Mind you, the only seizure I've ever had in my entire life was from a head injury when I fell down some stairs and hit this part of my head, and it was swollen out like a freaking grapefruit. And knock on wood, surprisingly, I somehow managed. I have a really hard skull because I didn't crack it. It does have a small indentation still, and this was 11 years ago. I lost hair from it. Finally, after all this time, it's grown back. But I have a weird calic right here now. Like, you can always see my hair is always sticking out at that spot. I had a very mild concussion. I had nothing. Like, I've had it checked twice. Twice, because when I did it, and then a few years later when I had gotten pregnant with Colton, I wanted to make sure that it was okay. And so, anyhow, where was I going with that? Oh my gosh. Brain fog is the best, and I don't really have brain fog. I have concentration fog. That's what it is. Which is another common thing for fibromyalgia, if you didn't know that. So anyhow, I'm still trying to remember what I was trying. Oh, the neurologist. So in October of 2017, I went to the neurologist, and when I went back for my results, it was in November. So it was after I tore my knee, and he proceeded to tell me that I have nerve damage, neuropathy, and we don't know why. And that kind of nerve damage is called something weird. It starts with an E, and it's because, oh, well, you have it, but we don't know why you have it. And no, Kelly, it's not from the degenerative disc in your neck, is what I was told. You're also not pre-diabetic. You are not diabetic. So we have no idea why you have it. It's just there. Okay. Now, I knew I had nerve damage because I know what nerve damage pain feels like. It's like a tingling and a numbness, and sometimes a really bad burning sensation. So I get it in my arms, like when I'm sleeping. If I'm super, super tight, it really gets in my arms. When I wake up, my arms are asleep. But the majority of it that I feel is in my back. but it goes farther down than where the nerves go in your neck. Like the nerves in your neck stop in the middle of your shoulder blades. And then down from that, I don't know where those nerves come from because he didn't tell me. I don't know why he didn't tell me. That's okay. So, and so I know I know that nerve damage, what it feels like. So I kind of already knew I had it, but I guess just getting that confirmation from the doctor kind of was like oh. And I just kind of sat there and he's like, "Oh, I could give you Depakote." Well, first of all, no, I don't even know what Depakote is. It sounds like a pretty heavy drug. I'm 41 years old. Not going to live the rest of my life on pain medication. My ass is going to start getting harder at yoga, and I'm going to work out more, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And so this is where all of my health stuff started to come back into play. But I was suffering from a torn ACL and MCL, so there wasn't a whole lot at the time that I could do. And so in February, when I was actually getting strength back in my leg and my quad had atrophied from not using it for 3 months, I decided it was time to go back. I still had not started physical therapy for my knee, which really sucked. But it is what it is. So I started going back to the gym, and then I started noticing like these muscles in my back were getting worse and my ribs were getting worse. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then in April, I quit smoking. I started my quitting smoking journey, I should say, because I've only recently gone, today's Thursday, I smoked Sunday. And I smoked Saturday night too. So since beginning to mid-April, I've only been a weekend smoker, like only a couple, not a lot, but it's still more than I want to be. So I'm still working. That's, I have a whole nother journey on that. A whole nother series on the whole quitting smoking thing. So anyway, I've gone through a lot of really weird physical detox symptoms, but looking back now, like I don't know if that's really what's been happening. So smoking cigarettes is a nerve blocker, but I thought it was only a nerve blocker for your taste and smell, but I'm really wondering if it doesn't block way more nerves than just that, because since I've quit, my muscle pain has tripled. The rib pain that I feel on my left side has tripled. Yeah. So with anxiety, you're like, oh my God, is something wrong with me, right? You have anxiety or panic disorder, and any little pain, you think something is just like when I was getting that shooting pain up my spine or my head, I thought I had a brain tumor. For sure, I got a brain tumor. I'm dying. That's anxiety, people. Health anxiety, I should say, which never used to be an issue for me. When I was younger, when I had my panic attacks, it was just a panic attack. I didn't worry about my health ever. I wish I had, because I probably would have quit smoking 20 years ago or never started. Anyway, back on track. So, a month ago when I was at the doctor just to have a checkup on my knee, I wanted to discuss my knee and some foot pain I was having that it turned out to be plantar fasciitis. Yes, I'm 41 years old and I have a shitload of things wrong with me right now, but I am proactively healing my body. So, anyway, I made an appointment for my neck. I wanted to see what was going on. So I did go in and I went and got x-rays done. And I saw Dr. Shane Monsoon yesterday. And the degenerative disc in my neck in C3 and 4 and 5 has gotten better, you guys. Better. Now, listen here real quick. I go to yoga. I use that dinner roll thing. This. I used to use it a lot more than I do now. I have a yoga trapeze that I hang in. I stretch all the time. I make it a point to, and I will tuck my shoulder, and then I get, that fun double chin. Yay. I do tuck my chin, especially if I'm doing certain exercises. But I'll make it a point to like roll my shoulders back and like straighten my neck. Like I mentally make it a point to do that. However, I have some kind of severe NC7, which wasn't there before, which is fine. I'm okay with that. But he doesn't believe that my muscle pain is from my neck. Now, he said that it could be, but he felt on my back and he's like, you've got really tight muscles. So this is called hyperactive muscle something. I don't remember what the last word was that he said. So I've, of course, looked it up. I'll put a link below the video for you. And they're overactive, which and then I did tell him, like, okay, you know, I've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia like 3 different times. And he's like, Kelly, I don't think you have that. Now, mind you, he has not seen me for anything other than my knee pain until yesterday. But we go to the same gym. We talk, like, but see, people don't even know that I live with this pain, you guys. That's what I'm trying to tell you. People don't know you live in pain unless you have a physical diagnosis, right? Like, if you have fibromyalgia, you can't fucking tell anybody. Isn't that how it goes? Like, oh my God, God forbid you talk about that. And I'm guilty of being one of those people who never believed it. And maybe that's like my karma coming back on me. I don't know, but it's real. They don't know why I have it. They're giving me a diagnosis of, well, you have overactive muscles that squeeze and they tighten and they hold everything and blah, blah, blah. And then I told him about the rib pain. And he said that that was normal when you start going back to exercising. And that he could give me trigger point injections. And I was like, oh, no, 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 no. First off, I've been on a fast for 2 days, so we're not putting any shit in my body. He's like, Kelly, I use lidocaine. Same thing the dentist uses. And he does trigger points. So the needle's like super small and it's almost like acupuncture, he said. I was like, the last time I got those, I was in miserable pain for 4 days, 3 or 4 days. All I did was cry. And he's like, I don't use a steroid. I'm like, okay, cool. Because I don't want any steroids in my body. Yeah. So I'm going to start crying. That's been a problem since I quit smoking. I cry super easier now. Get a grip, Kelly, right? So he gave me Bacoflin, which is a muscle relaxer. And he said that let's take that for 4 weeks and let's reevaluate in 4 weeks, right? So you can only get physical therapy for one area of your body at a time with my insurance, I guess. So because I'm getting physical therapy on my knee, we can't do it for my neck. But I told him that I am willing, because it's really not my knee. Like I obviously need to strengthen like the muscles around my knee to keep it from really popping out of place again because my ACL is torn. But it's my hip, and I'm paying somebody to see them quite a few times a week for personal training. And we did discover that a lot of it is my core and my gluteus maximus, whatever the butt muscles are. Okay, they're fucking weak as shit. All of my smaller muscles don't want to engage when my larger muscles engage. Don't know why. So, I told him, I said, let's, in 4 weeks, if I'm still like this, I want to stop knee therapy and begin neck therapy, because this is what hurts. I can tighten my ass on my own. I can tighten my hips on my own, but I don't know the physical therapy stuff for neck and muscles like that. Like I have no clue. And I suppose I could research it, but I'd rather not. I'd rather learn it by doing, because a physical therapist is working with me, So last night I came out of my fast so that I can take this muscle relaxer because I was pretty sore yesterday, but it wasn't the unbearable sore. And I'll tell you, I feel a lot better today. Um, I'm still, I still am achy. Uh, I'm not too bad though. It does feel better, but I'm still getting the weird pains in my ribs, which is really, I'm trying to not let that part freak me out. I have an appointment with my regular doctor on June 6th. So I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of it. We're probably going to, she listens to me and knows that I have my health anxiety and knows that I'm just a fucking mess up here at times. And I need that blood work to make sure I'm okay. But then I've also got some weird pain going on right here in my shoulder joint. And like I pushed up this morning, it's not too bad. But like when I was pulling my stretchy, just regular old yoga workout pants on, it hurts. So I have a feeling that it's actually my rotator cuff, and really my rotator cuff this time. So I'm guessing that I'm probably gonna have to have a couple surgeries, which is a good thing. I've always wanted a breast augmentation, so if I could have to have surgery in order to live out the rest of my life pain free, maybe I can get that breast augmentation done because I won't be afraid of surgery. Who knows? It's weird how things happen, but so this is going to be a new journey that I want to talk about, because people living in chronic pain, or even if it's hit and miss chronic pain, we don't talk about it. We don't tell people, like, I hurt all the time. Sorry, I have to regroup myself. You don't tell people because people don't understand. They don't understand what it feels like to be laying in bed with a heating pad on your hips, an ice pack on your shoulders, and another ice pack on your knee because your knee's torn. Or that you can't get comfortable because no matter which way you roll, it fucking hurts. They just don't understand. And it's like they think that you're a hypochondriac or that you're crazy, or just that you're full of shit. I walk around all the time with a smile on my face, and I've done it my whole life, but especially since I lost my boys, I bury that all the time, and like I don't let people see it. I don't know how to share. And so this is one reason that I am making this body pain series playlist for you guys, because I need to get it out. And I know I do. And I hope that maybe there's somebody else out there that comes across this video that I can help. Somebody that comes across this video that is also living in pain and they're afraid to talk about it. Don't be afraid to talk about it, and if those people don't understand or they want to judge you, they're never part of your tribe to begin with, right? Although silently, we struggle with the fact that we're afraid people are going to judge us too. Even if somebody's not, we sometimes automatically think that they are. And I really hope that this can help somebody. And I hope that you can find hope and you can find faith and you can start doing things to improve your quality of life, because I personally do not want to live, even if I only lived another 10 years, I don't want to live another 10 years like that. You know, I don't want to live another year like that. Not when it happens often. I mean, if when it was irregular and infrequent, it wasn't a big deal, but it's frequent now. And I'm not going to live my life like that. And so I am taking proactive instead of reactive actions to try to help. And I hope that in my journey, I can help somebody else. So, there you have it. Thank you for watching. And if you know anybody with chronic pain, fibromyalgia, overactive muscle, overactive muscles, chronic anxiety, maybe that's why. I don't know. Anybody who's recently quit smoking, anybody who is just going through a lot of trial and error in their life, share this video with them, because I really, really want this. I'm not putting this out here to just do it. I'm putting this out here because I need to get it out and because I want to help people. So, thank you for watching. Sorry, I have very bad ugly cry. Let me know if this helps.